Carnage on a street in a California neighborhood after a jet catches fire, comes down in this San Diego neighborhood, seems to hit a lot of the vehicles on that street. And when the jet fuel tank burst open, there was jet fuel literally dropping out of the aircraft as it was in the process of crashing. And you can see the end result in these pictures right here. This is Fox 10 Talks. I'm Ron Hoon. Thanks for starting your morning with us. They held a news conference just a little earlier this morning, and the fire division chief there for San Diego Fire, Dan Eddy, said that this aircraft struck about 15 homes in that neighborhood. We're still, the forensics of it all is going to take quite a while, but it's quite possible that as it was coming down, it crashed into one house and then started to spin out of control, because where the plane landed was quite a ways down that street. But this plane did crash, and the fire chief is basically saying that if when he walked it himself, he said, I just walked it myself, and down the street, it looks like something out of a movie. Not a movie anybody would ever want to watch, some sort of a horror film. He does also say that they believe they have multiple fatalities. So I'm going to take you right to it. This was the news conference as it got underway with the latest info on this deadly California jet crash.
This morning at approximately 3:45, 3:47, we have reports of a plane down in the Murphy Canyon neighborhood.
We've done a full sweep. We're doing what's called a fob. So we go in between and we're looking at everything down the airport that we have here. There's a possible debris field all the way back behind us, all the way into here. So we're gonna make sure and we do a step-by-step process of going through the housing units that we have down here. No one was transported out of the housing units. That's where I say we were lucky in that fact that no one from those homes was injured that we've had so far. We had some possible minor injuries, but no one was transported from the scene from any of the housing units. All the fatalities right now look to be that they're from the plane.
This is one of the largest military housing units in the world. Certainly we have a lot of military families that are impacted.
At this time right now, that's what we're doing the fob and walking through on it. I can tell you that there are multiple homes, upwards of 10 homes that are affected. Also, when it hit the street, as the jet fuel went down, it took out every single car that was on both sides of the street on fire. So if you saw the scene, I know some of you had some images from earlier, you could see that every single car was burning down both sides of the street. And so that's something that we're gonna have to look at too. That's why you have the wisps of smoke, because we have one car fire that just will not go out no matter what we put on it right now.
I wanna commend all of the first responders that were out here this morning, the fire department, the police department. I can't quite put words to describe what this scene looks like, but with the jet fuel going down the street and everything on fire all at once, it was pretty horrific to see. And for the police officers and firefighters to run in there, start trying to evacuate people out of the way and doing anything and everything they could to try to save somebody's life.
All right, so we have the pictures that have been coming in. Syleste joins us. Well, I was just checking on maps, trying to get, I'm not familiar with what the Murphy Canyon neighborhood is, but it is just north, less than a mile north of the Interstate 8 freeway that all of us here in Arizona take when we're headed over to San Diego. I would put it at no more than about 3 or 4 miles from that Hotel Circle area and Mission Valley. Yeah. So Murphy Canyon was the neighborhood that got hit. And at this point, we just don't know in terms of the number of fatalities. They're still trying to figure out. This was an aircraft, I understand, that took off from the Teterboro Airport in the New York, New Jersey area. The plane can seat as many as 10 people, but at this point, we just don't know. Sounds like it happened at 3:45 in the morning, so it was a kind of a late night, all night private plane, a jet, that had taken off from the East Coast and was just in the last few miles trying to come in for landing in San Diego.
Yeah, when the news first broke, I pulled it up on a map, and Ron, you're correct. It looks like it's just directly east of Mission Bay in one of these neighborhoods. Really heartbreaking when you hear, sometimes it makes you think how it happened. And of course, there's a full investigation ongoing in terms of, how something like this could take place. But there in the San Diego area, you do have, like, Ron, the June gloom. You have the cloudy conditions. We're not sure if any strong winds were moving through those canyons. There is something interesting about mountain flying. And across the West, they talk a lot about it when you're going through flight school. My husband is a pilot. And so we've talked about mountain flying because we've flown up through Idaho and Utah and through the mountains and everything. But you do see on some of the maps when you take a look at where Murphy Canyon is located, you have some mountain terrain in and around that area. And then, of course, you have winds and all the weather that comes off the Pacific Ocean.
And San Diego is kind of unique in that way. By the way, I think we have one of our regular viewers who said they live right in that Murphy Canyon area. So, yeah, we will continue to kind of monitor that. But, boy, what a horrible story coming in from San Diego this morning, and no more than a mile off that freeway that we all take, the Interstate 8. Celeste?
Ron, I'll mention real quick, it's Michael C. Thank you for sharing, Michael, your thoughts on this. He said, OMG, I used to live in that neighborhood when I was in the Navy. It's a military housing unit.
Yes, a very good point. It is. Then the other big story of the morning coming in from Washington, D.C., just shock and disgust around the country after a gunman who later, when he was being taken into custody, yells, "Free Palestine," after he walked up and in cold blood, according to police, shot and killed 2 young people who worked at the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Pam Bondi stepped out onto the sidewalk right in front of the DOJ earlier this morning to talk about the fact that this horrific killing happened literally just steps away there from the Department of Justice itself. You can hear the emotion in her voice as she was speaking.
What we saw last night was disgusting. I saw a young man's body being taken away who was about to get engaged. He had an entire life in front of him, and that was taken away. The hate has got to stop, and it has to stop now. And this person will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. You all have to understand, I can't talk about the facts. I can't talk about anything else now. They are working tirelessly to make sure this investigation goes proper. It is. Everyone is working together. And that's what's going to happen now.
Can you talk about the threat? Is there an increased threat level?
You spoke to Prime Minister Netanyahu.
I did.
What did you talk about?
I did. I spoke to Prime Minister Netanyahu last night. I was with Ambassador Leiter, and Prime Minister Netanyahu called while I was with him. I spoke to him, and of course he was devastated. He was devastated, and it broke my heart to talk to Bibi last night. He was devastated. And I assured him we were looking into this. Of course, all of our investigators were working together. And I also spoke to President Trump multiple times, who was just heartbroken and devastated by this. And, you know, his first directive to us was make America safe again, and that's what we are going to do. There is no place for this hate in our country and in our world.
And has the threat level been increased? Has the threat level been increased at Israeli missions around the country?
Yes, I can tell you that, yes. The question was, has the threat level been increased? I can tell you security has been increased here as of last night. Our U.S. Marshals are working hand in hand to make sure the embassy is safe, our ambassador is safe. And again, please know, everything we know now, he acted alone. From everything we know now, this is an ongoing investigation. But you know, whether you're Jewish or not, be vigilant. You know, this is the last thing these 2 young people, they were at a religious event right around the corner from where we're standing, a religious event with friends and with coworkers. They walked outside to go home and were gunned down. That cannot happen in our community. And this is the day where we all need to come together no matter what religion we are. And you know, the Muslim religion actually reached out to our rabbis and offered condolences and sent a beautiful message that they just showed me. And that's what should be happening in our world.
Okay, so you had a chance to listen to, you know, Celeste, we've listened to her during her time as the Attorney General of the United States.
Yes.
And during her many years serving in a similar capacity in Florida. I've never heard her so emotional compared to what we just heard this morning. And that was very impromptu, a rainy morning in Washington. She wanted to step out onto the sidewalk there and speak what was on her mind. You know, also just a few blocks away from that, we had a major ruling from the United States Supreme Court that is creating all kinds of headlines today because they basically blocked what would have been the creation of our nation's first religious charter school. They're considered this a big loss for religious rights advocates. And the court split 4-4 over St. Isidore of Seville's virtual charter school in Oklahoma. It leaves the lower court ruling in place, and Amy Coney Barrett did not participate. And if you're a Supreme Court justice, you don't have to say why. She just recused herself.
And one of the things, though, I was reading a little bit more information about this case. This was on NPR. .org. Justice Amy Coney Barrett recused herself from participating as a professor when she was teaching at the University of Notre Dame. She was involved with a legal clinic that advised St. Isidore. And so she said she had prior connection with the parish. There's 2 Catholic parishes in Oklahoma that were wanting to create these, schools. And here's a look at the poll question.
Yeah, okay, so right now 80% of you are saying this is good, always keep church and state separated. 20% are saying the practical effect of this is that it's discrimination against religion. So that's 20%. So far, we don't have any votes for it. It's really just because she recused herself. It was 4-4. A lot of people think that if a similar case that was not connected either to the Catholic Church or to Notre Dame or to her history, that she'll be on board with the other conservative justices. So you can grab that QR code and let us know what you think.
So the vote was 4-4.
Yes.
So how does that move forward?
Yeah. Well, that basically, when a tie means it goes to the previous court. If she had been voting, a lot of court observers think it would have been 5-4 with the conservative justices ruling okay for charter schools to have a religious flavor to them. So anyway, cast your votes on that, and what we'll do is check in with you, and of course comments on YouTube. We're going to go to Dave. Yes, that's all coming up as Big Dave. That's what we like to call him around here. We're going to take a quick break. That was a quick 13 minutes. That's for sure.
That went
Celeste.
fast.
And show you this on it's a rainy day in many parts of the country. Where's today's mystery cam? Give us your votes, and we'll be back in 2 quick minutes. Well, here we go. You are looking at the Mystery Cam, and we have a bunch of cities who went with the roundabouts, Celeste, a long time ago.
Yes.
ADOT keeps trying these roundabouts, but I don't think people are taken to them very much in Arizona.
Well, they have that diamond lane. What is it, up off of Happy Valley in the 17?
Oh, the reversible.
The reversible.
The thing that, yeah, right?
And it's kind of weird
Crisscrosses.
because you're driving on the wrong side of the road for a portion of it. Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, this was just the way, back in the old days, they didn't even want to put stoplights in. They wanted people to go around the circle. So the question is, of course, on a rainy day, now I am thinking a lot of the East Coast, up and down the coast, has been seeing a lot of rain. So I'm thinking it's probably one of those East Coast type states.
I'm going to go Pennsylvania. I know some of you in the chat said you didn't have a whole lot of time to guess, but I think, we're going to give you just a quick few seconds here to guess what city this is. Look at these big semis, Ron. Do you think that's milk or gasoline?
I think the first one's gas and the second one's milk. Oh, wait. No, maybe it's vice versa. This is Fox 10 Talks. And Celeste, I was noticing yesterday, every day we have new commentators.
Yes, we do.
Who are joining us. I'm going to give you a second to kind of glance through and see if we have anybody saying hello.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, Ron.
Yeah.
We do have, I'm kind of moving back, Arizona Blondie, Crazy Crew. She's in Lake Havasu.
Nice. We love the LHC around here.
Yes, we do. We also have a gentleman from Cedar Rapids, Jeff Binger. Cedar Rapids, Ron.
Okay, so Jeff.
Good morning.
I had one of my better slices of pizza ever in Cedar Rapids. So hang with us, Jeff, because I'm going to go to the maps.
Better than Detroit style? Because you love Detroit.
I do. But I also like Cedar Rapids style.
Okay.
And I didn't know that till I pulled off the freeway.
All right, Jeffrey, stay tuned.
I bet he's been to this very pizza joint. Anyway, welcome to the friendliest chat on the internet, that's for sure, on YouTube. And Celeste, so you're saying Pennsylvania?
Yes, I'm going to go Pennsylvania. And by the way, Charles David in the chat says milk is round and fuel is oval.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of an inside tip. Look at
Who said that?
Charles David.
Oh, Charles. Thank you, buddy.
I wonder if he has ever made high heels. The heels, there's a Charles David, a brand, Charles David, that used to make
is that
heels.
right?
Yeah,
right.
Maybe he's like a man of many trades.
Okay, it's possible.
He's the milkman. He's the oil man.
Entrepreneurial. He's in the milk business and the high heel business. All right, so here we go. I think I've changed my mind. I'm going to go back a little ways and call this Indiana. Okay, Celeste, Pennsylvania, Indiana, or something else. What do you got?
I'm going to go Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Blue Dream Soap said Kentucky. Lisa Dinsmore said Delaware.
Okay.
Wyoming from Mr. Paul Valine.
All right.
Oh, Gettysburg.
Oh, that's Gettysburg?
Wow.
Oh, now I feel bad that I didn't get it.
You've been to Gettysburg.
Yes, right. What's funny? The last time I went, I took the grandkids, and we did not drive all the way up to the traffic circle.
Sherry, Nevada Pup, and Frankie D, well done. They both guessed PA as well.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I wish everybody would go to Gettysburg. We went there. We didn't have a lot of time, so we just went right to the battlefield. And it's amazing. I'm telling you.
So cool.
There is so much to learn there. All right. So just down the road from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania is, ladies and gentlemen, what happened last night.
On this vote, the yeas are 215, the nays are 214, with one answering present. The bill is passed.
Okay, and there you can see it right when it was coming down to the last 15 seconds. This is like a basketball game that goes into overtime, Celeste. At that point, it was losing 214 to 211, but it did win 215 to 214. Kind of a somber note. 3 Democrats in the House have died in the last 3 months.
Oh, my goodness.
I just saw that report. There was another member of Congress, a Democratic member of Congress, who passed away yesterday. And so, that, of course, they're going to try to get those positions refilled. I don't know if that ultimately made a difference in the voting, but 215 to 214, and some of the things the president wanted in there, including no tax on tips, no tax on overtime.
Yep.
And it makes the 2017 tax cuts, which is the current rate everybody's been paying for the last several years, makes those permanent. It also there are several Republican, very close districts in the state of New York where their big issue was, you've got to give us a bigger tax deduction from the feds because we pay the most crazy taxes in New York State.
Right.
And so they decided to go ahead and throw them that option. And the thing about it is it's going to institute work requirements, and they just don't know at this point. If you want the government to pay for your health care benefits through Medicaid, you're going to have to work at least 20 hours a week unless you have children that you're caring for. And the same for food stamps. And so they're trying to calculate, well, what that will clearly mean less dollars, fewer dollars being spent on those programs. And it may be in the many, many billions, but they just don't know at this point.
We have some breaking news happening in the chat box, Ron. Ocean Girl 505 says, hi, everyone. Thanks for all that you do for us, Dave. Isabella Fredrickson says there would be no show without Dave. Dave is getting some love. Should we go to Dave right now and see if he's got any comments popping?
Sure. As a matter of fact, one more time on the poll question, grab that QR code. The next vote will move things around a little bit. So what do you think about the Supreme Court ruling today? 80% say keep them separate, church and state. 20% are saying, if there's so many different specialties in charter schools nowadays, which, by the way, Arizona leads the way with charter schools.
We do.
They're saying, well, why can't there be one that includes religious instruction? So that's how it shakes out right now. But Celeste, without further ado, look, take a look.
We got a twofer.
Yeah.
We got Isabella and Dave. Good
there
morning, you two.
Go. Oh, we've
got a twofer because we had a viewer email yesterday say they want more Isabella. So we had to give them what they wanted.
Right? Oh, that's great. Well, we love having Isabella on the show. And a lot of folks who used to watch her in Tucson. Yes. Which station were you at?
Two comments on the poll today.
Okay, go
Ocean
for it.
Girl 505 says people of faith pay taxes for education too. In my humble opinion, this is legislation from the bench. And R4D10Z says the church is also tax exempt. If the church starts paying taxes, I would consider it for all faiths. So thanks for commenting, guys. Thanks for being engaged.
Yeah, that is really interesting perspective, isn't it?
It
is. Hey, by the way, Isabella fans, don't you worry. She's coming up again on the, I don't know, is it still the Dave Cam? At this point, it's kind of the Dave and Isabella Cam. Yeah. Because we're going to be talking about something very exciting that is happening in the universe of theme parks. And you know what that is, Celeste?
What is that, Ron?
It is the new Epic Universe, which has now opened its whole new, it's like its own theme park over there in Florida, in Orlando, at Universal.
Is it all encompassed with the cost of a regular admission, or do I have to sell my car to get in?
I think it's all encompassed. You might want to hold off on mortgaging the car. But you know, I went there last year, and we went to Disney World.
Yeah.
And it is expensive. Oh, gosh. I mean, it's so expensive. And I'm a little, you don't even know this about me, but I'm a little tight with the dollar.
Are you really? I would have never guessed.
I know. The first day we went 2 days, and the first day I said, I am not paying for, what do they call the Fast Pass now?
I think that's what they call it, right?
It's got a different name.
Oh,
it's going to come to, it's Lightning Lane.
Oh, Lightning Lane.
So you have to pay like almost the same amount of what you pay to get into the park to get the Lightning Lane. First day. Well, the first day, every ride, I swear, was between an hour and a half to 2 hours in line.
Oh, my goodness.
So I went ahead and ponied up, but I wasn't happy about it.
But, okay, did you get in faster? Lightning speed?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're talking about 10 minutes instead of 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, all that aside, what we wanted to do is with our great friends at our Fox stations in Florida, we've got them from Orlando to several other markets as well. We have this report for you as the excitement builds.
One of the most remarkable aspects of Universal Epic Universe is how the theme park transports you from world to world. In this case, going from the centerpiece of the property, Celestial Park, to Super Nintendo World is unlike anything I've ever seen. The anticipation builds as you enter the iconic green pipe. And when you pop out, you literally step into a video game. utter joy and sheer delight. The vibrant scenery from the Super Mario video game franchise is dazzling beyond comprehension. Stimulation to the max, a true vibe of we are kids of all ages. The colorful landscapes of the Mushroom Kingdom come to life with multiple experiences. For example, in Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, you'll pop on the hat and steer your Mario Kart through a variety of immersive courses to collect coins and toss shells, competing with your friends, of course, for points. Slow it down a bit on Yoshi's Adventure, a family-friendly ride with breathtaking views of Super Mario Land as you search for glowing eggs. From Celestial Park, you'll step through a giant portal into something called Isle of Berk, based on the Academy Award-nominated film trilogy How to Train Your Dragon. This world at Epic Universe is an authentic recreation of the rugged, rocky land where raucous Vikings and rambunctious dragons live together in hilarious harmony. Guests will discover 4 attractions, 1 live theater show, 3 eateries, and dragons everywhere. You got the chance to try a family thrill ride named after the film's main character called Hiccup's Wing Gliders. It's a roller coaster where Hiccup invites brave new Vikings to hop aboard his latest glider contraption. You'll soar into the sky, reaching speeds up to 45 miles per hour. And this one's a blast. Next to it is Dragon Racers Rally.
We're gonna flip it, baby. We're going for the flip.
The Isle of Berk's new Viking racers are in complete control of their trainers and can practice aerobatic maneuvers and barrel rolls up to 67 feet in the air. Over on the water, there's a wet and wild boat battle called Fire Drill, where you practice putting out fires using water cannons. It's a crucial skill to master when living with dragons. And speaking of dragons, they come to life on stage in a heartwarming story called The Untrainable Dragon. No videos or photos allowed of that show, but I can tell you it was incredible. And perhaps the marquee attraction inside How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, is the meet and greet with the humble Hiccup and his adorable trained Night Fury dragon, Toothless.
Oh.
Mutual respect. Most dragons will, let you pet.
Beautiful. Pleasure meeting you, Toothless.
Okay, that was the tour right there. And so we're going to take a break, but in the chat box, we would love for you to share with us your memories of the first time you went to, it's opening day. It's so
favorite
exciting.
childhood ride.
Favorite childhood ride or memory, and we'll be right back. We're looking at beautiful, I almost said beautiful British Columbia because that's what their license plates say, but this is Alberta right next door, and that's the adorable mountain town of Banff, B-A-N-F-F. Oh, there's hiking around there. I rode horseback.
Is this where they have that beautiful big lake? It's always on Instagram.
No, it's actually, close by. Lake Louise. And Moraine Lake.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I will share on our show tomorrow.
Yes.
The favorite picture of all time that I've ever taken anywhere was of that very lake.
Was it when you were there?
Yes.
From
like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's
that
so
kind
beautiful.
Of a thing. I can't wait to share that with you. But we're also kind of sharing our memories of the first time we were ever at a theme park. We're going to bring Isabella into the chat here as well. But Celeste, how old were you the first time you went to Disneyland? And what memories do you have?
It wasn't Disneyland. It was Magic Mountain.
Oh, okay.
And it was the beginning of my 6th grade year.
Good. That's about the right time to go.
And it was like a school trip.
Okay.
So we went with a bunch of our friends from school.
Oh.
And I remember getting on some of the roller coasters. I don't remember one specifically, but I remember thinking, this is amazing.
Okay. Let's do this. Let's go to Isabella. Good morning, Isabella.
Good morning.
Any memories of the first time you went to your very first theme park?
Yes, I went to Disneyland for the first time. I was 6 years old, and I barely made it on the height check to go on to some of the bigger rides, and I felt so cool and grown up. And my favorite ride was Tower of Terror.
Oh,
at 6 years old? Holy cow.
You're brave.
I think the first time I went to Tower of Terror, I was like 45, and I was scared out of my wits.
I don't think I've ever been on the Tower of Terror.
Oh, have you not?
No, never.
You know what? They upgraded it.
I'd rather be on the teacups, just so everybody
Okay, good. Or Dumbo, or It's a Small World.
Or in Toontown and in Minnie's home.
Right. They changed Tower of Terror a few years ago.
Yes.
It is more terrifying than it used to be. So you would get on, and it would be like an elevator, and you'd go up and down, but then you'd stop on a floor, and the doors would open, and you'd see some kind of crazy scene. Then the doors would close, and you'd drop, like 100 feet, that kind of a thing. Now, though, you bounce the whole time you're trying to see what's through the elevator doors. I'm telling you, take your Dramamine. If you take nothing else away from today's streaming show. I think I was 10. No, I was 9.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're all kind of sharing roughly from that time frame. And back in those days when you went to Disneyland, you got a little booklet, and you could only go on the rides that you had the tickets for. You had to tear them off. And the best rides, like the Matterhorn, were what were called e-ticket rides. I bet you some people in the chat will remember the e-ticket rides.
Well, not just that, and chime in if that's something that you remember, but we do have a Knott's Berry Farm. Nick Dinsmore says, why nobody talking about Knott's Berry Farm? My grandmother would take me there just to eat.
Oh.
Let's see. We also have, B. Miguel says he got sick on those darn teacups. My daughter did too.
Takes a lot to admit that in front of everybody, Brandon. I got you, buddy.
I know. But we have the carousel at Enchanted Island at Encanto Park. Those are his. This was Albert Mesa. Those are his childhood memories. So, they still have it there here in Phoenix.
Yeah. Well, so here's another question. We talk all the time about how we're such a big metro area. We don't have a massive theme park. I know they're building Barbie World.
Yes, they are.
Out in the West Valley.
Yeah, Mattel, and like a lot of Mattel things. They have that big at the what's that big hotel they're building right next to
the Vibe?
The Vibe. They have a big roller coaster that's in and outside.
Yes,
of the
I love that. But ever since they announced Disney that they're going to build in a place that's just as hot as we are over there in the Middle East, that I want to see somebody come to this city with a full-on theme park.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll do it at Pecan Lake.
Do you ever feel like there is, and Isabel can chime in on this one too, there's some rides that you're just nostalgic about. Like somebody just mentioned this in the chat box. RLS Vid said Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay.
Because it has that musky smell.
Yo-ho, pirate.
It smells kind of like Rainforest Cafe.
Yeah, you know what? It does. You're right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you have any other memories, be sure to share them with us. Isabella, we're going to check in with her a little bit. a little bit later.
Ron,
Excuse me.
Here's your drink.
Okay, Celeste,
And it's
you
a
take it away.
It's non-alcoholic, by the way.
Yes, it is non-alcoholic. Go ahead.
It would make it more fun if there were whiskey in there, though. Ron, do you want to give it a shot? I'm just kidding.
No, you take the show. Go for it.
All right, let's go ahead and give you a couple more comments this morning. Thank you all for chiming in and watching. So Troy S. says, love the octopus ride growing up. Sammy G. says she can't do rides at Spin, so the teacups are out for her. Charles David said, Pirates is the best, Pirates of the Caribbean. And there was another one that you stood in. I don't know what part of Disneyland. It was, you know, the part of Disneyland that is like New Orleans.
Oh, yeah, New Orleans Square.
New Orleans Square.
Oh, toward the Haunted Mansion.
Thank you.
Are you thinking of the Haunted Mansion?
Yes, I'm thinking the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yes,
Hey,
crazy.
there is going to be, it looks like, a new attraction, not related to theme parks, but related to history. There is a move afoot this morning in the Chicagoland area to make the house where the Pope grew up into its own historical site. So listen to what they were having to say about that.
So that everybody, not just in Dalton or the south suburbs, but worldwide, can come to his home.
From France, from Italy, you know, people are coming and praying, you know, touching the house to be healed. I saw a young lady do that.
We will do what the Archdiocese thinks is best to preserve the home.
So that's what they're saying, and it's a little village in Dalton, Illinois. They want to acquire the childhood home where Pope Leo grew up, turn it into a historic site, and it sounds like the neighbors, you know, there's a lot of not in my backyard type attitudes all over the country, but it sounds like the neighbors are on board with it. They're so happy about it. I only have so many E&G buttons I can punch up, so I'm going to let you guys just punch up wherever we got it there. I think it's on 26.
It's a pretty shot.
The there's the real Matterhorn. You talk about your e-ticket rides.
Wow.
There's the real Matterhorn in Switzerland. That town is called Zermatt.
Have you been, Ron?
Oh, yes. And so, you know, I try to have been just about everywhere, Celeste, so we can talk about it.
Yeah.
So my advice to you is do not book a hotel on the right side of your screen there, because you get that little canyon, you get totally blocked off on your view. You'll be like craning your neck to see the mountain.
Okay.
And today it's all clouded up. You can take a train that goes not up to the top of that mountain, but to a nearby mountain, and it's incredible.
You know what would be cool is obviously, like, I have kids and a husband and 2 dogs.
Right.
So I could never go on a pilgrimage right now.
Oh.
But that would be fun to go backpacking in Europe, you know, and you see places like this.
Yes.
You know, and you're just exploring different cities and trying the food and,
I know.
you know, I mean, that place right there, it's like it's just an iconic site.
Yeah. Well, you're going to get a lot of pastries. They're very big in
Switzerland.
Austria and Switzerland and Germany.
What are they, like cheese pastries, cheese Danish?
I feel like they're more fruity.
Fruity,
Yeah.
okay.
So anyway, Celeste, what about the great work that firefighters are doing trying to knock down this fire in Arizona? We are talking about, hold on here, here it is, right here. Okay, so they've done more evacuations. The Cody fire has now grown to 1,000 acres, and they put that map out for the Tucson area to let people know in Oracle where their evacuation zones are. But this fire has really exploded in size, and they felt like they had to get people out of their homes, so they're putting more people on set status right now.
That is pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the fortunate things a lot of times when you have these fires burning is that the winds are so crazy. Here's some of the hot shots kind of walking in with all of their gear. You have winds that are so crazy you can't have any like deployment in the air, but it looks as though they at least have helicopters and things like that to help with some of the firefight in the sky.
So we are going to stay right on top of that. It is definitely another one of our big stories. We hope it doesn't get out of control, but it depends on the winds. Celeste, did you happen to catch the story today that you might as well give up on hitting the snooze button? And they have a reason. Are you a snoozer?
I'm a snoozer.
Okay. We
9
can always
times
check
over.
in with Isabella or Dave on this one, too. If you hit the snooze button, you're really not doing yourself any good, and here's why. Researchers say it's those last 2 or 3 hours before you get up out of bed that are your prime hours for the deepest sleep, the REM sleep that they call it. So some people say to themselves, well, I know I have to get up at 6:30, so I'll set the snooze to start going off at 6.
Okay.
But then you're cutting into the most important sleep of the whole day.
So how do you know?
How do you know what?
How do you know how long you should sleep or when your REM is or how long your REM is?
Well, I think they say it's the last 2 hours.
Last 2 hours of your
But,
sleep.
you know, if you went to sleep and you only got 4.5 or 5.5 hours and you're like groggy, that's why. It's those last 2 hours between, say, 5 and 7 or between 6 and 8. Those last 2 hours, that's where your body basically does the best work it can do for itself. But anyway, are you a snoozer or no, Celeste?
I am definitely a snoozer.
Okay. Isabella, what about you? Or Dave, either one of you guys, what do you do?
I am a snoozer.
Are you? How many times do you hit the snooze button?
Oh, too many to count. I will have my alarm at 6 a.m. and
Yeah.
I'm snoozing until 7:30.
Oh,
Good for
wow.
you. Wow.
You might want to contact the Guinness Book of World Records, Isabella. That's amazing. Well, good for you.
I like sleep, but sleep doesn't like me.
Yeah.
So we're
I
working
know.
on it.
Yeah, well, we're all sort of
It's a
on that
relationship
schedule, Celeste,
situation.
right? Yeah. So I am not a snoozer. I don't know what you're hearing from folks in the chat box, Celeste, but if you see any interesting comments, be sure to share.
Okay, I will. Here is a quick note, Ron. So there is a website called sleepytime.cc.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when I would wake up at 1:45 a.m. to be in here
Yes.
by 4 a.m.,
Right.
I used this because I'm a snoozer.
Okay.
You go to the website and you type in, I want to get up at 1:45 a.m.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you press go. And it tells you should go to bed at this time, or this time to get the ultimate sleep.
Really?
So I just put in 1:45. I want to wake up at 4 a.m.
Okay.
I said this for example.
Okay.
Then you should go to bed at 6:45 p.m., 8:15 p.m., or 9:45 p.m. And it gives you the different cycles of sleep that you'll experience.
Wow.
And apparently the scientists have said if you wake up if you follow this pattern, you'll wake up at a time when your body is not in those deep REM sleeps.
Oh, that's where you run into trouble.
Right, because
you wake up from a hour nap and you're like a truck just ran over me.
But if you sleep for 20 minutes,
Okay.
then you're golden because
See?
you're not in that deep REM. So anyways, it's sleepytime.cc. I used it for years. It's not really scientific. It's very subjective on my part, but it worked for years.
Well, let me just tell you, I have mine set to KNIX 1025, our great
Yes.
friends over there. It goes off, and I'm up and out of bed within 20 seconds.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's almost like this theme music we play right here, as a matter of fact.
All right.
We got to take a break. Back in 2 minutes. All right, Celeste convinced me. Can you guys see my phone? Actually, we have such good cameras here. I think you can. That's the video that I took when you're on the train getting closer to the Matterhorn. So you can see you're just kind of climbing. Oh, look at this.
Can you guys see it okay?
Good. Here we go.
There we,
let me go
thank
one
you
more
guys.
time. Ready? Look at that.
Look at how cool that is.
You know, Brian has the ability, our director, Brian, he can do just about anything. But he's zoomed right into that camera. And so that's what you're like above the tundra line, I think, at that point. It's just you and the dirt and the rocks.
Yeah.
And what you don't see is the Matterhorn. It's right back there behind those clouds.
That is so beautiful.
But if you ever go there, be sure to take the train ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
I wonder if I
how
have
long?
any
How
other-
long is that train ride? Ron, your smile's very handsome, by the way, because we got a shot of it up there in the top right-hand corner.
Thank you. My dentist will love that. There's
you
Renee
and your
I,
beautiful wife.
The Matterhorn
Hi,
finally starting to
Renee.
show up, but it does love to hide behind the clouds.
We did.
Sorry, now you have to look at my dental work. Okay, what were you going to say, Celeste? I know.
Speaking of traveling the world, Ron, someone said, "How many languages does Ron speak?"
Well.
Buenos dias.
It's a funny thing.
Buenos
dias.
Mhm.
And when you ask me how I'm doing, I say mucho gusto. ¿Cómo?
No.
No? Okay. Do I say bueno? Yes.
¿Cómo
good.
estás?
Yeah.
Mucho gusto is like nice to meet. Nice
mucho
to meet
gusto.
you.
That's right.
Yeah,
yes.
like a salutation
Correct.
almost.
So it's funny because I was just doing better with my Spanish-speaking skills when you and I were working together a few years back. I was highly motivated.
We would do it every single day.
I took French. I took a French class in college, and I learned je ne sais pas.
Oh, je ne sais
Je ne
pas.
sais pas.
Je ne sais pas.
Which is, I don't know. Kind of got me through a whole quarter. But I did take a lot of German.
Okay.
And so I can do pretty well when I'm in like the Bavarian Alps, yodeling. Or whatever is necessary, or Switzerland or some of those places.
How often do you yodel?
Every day.
That's how you warm up, right, for the show.
Hey, we have to salute. We got to get to this story. I'm so fired up for the one and only Brock Purdy, living down there in that Gilbert, Queen Creek area. He signed a humongous deal yesterday.
Yeah.
$265 million.
That is amazing.
But he's such a humble guy. This is why we love him. He's just like salt of the earth from the East Valley. They said, okay, well, what are you going to do with all that money? And I'll tell you all about it. But he also, I guess his mom went and got him a chocolate cake. So that's how he was going to celebrate. Where is Brock? You're going to hear from him right now.
Ron, good morning. The man believed...
Nope, hold on.
Not gonna lie, it's just like a simple cake that I think my mom got at the grocery store. She called ahead of time and picked it up. But yeah, I like chocolate cake in general, so it was special to me.
Congratulations to him. You know, one of his QB coaches, there's something, Ron, we've talked about this. Arizona, for whatever reason, in the Valley in particular, has a history of really building up these great quarterbacks.
Right.
And Brock Purdy is an example of one of them. And when you talk to his quarterback coaches from when he was growing up here, they always talk, he was just like a salt-to-the-earth kid, just like a super great kid, comes from a great family. And this is exciting. Congrats to him.
He barely made the draft. And I did want to find out from his mom, because we know they all live out there in the East Valley.
Yes.
Did she go to the Safeway Bakery or the Bashas' Bakery?
That's a
or
big
the
controversy.
Fries, or which
Costco,
bakery?
Or where?
Yeah, but why would you drive all the way to Costco when you have a Safeway or a Bashas' within a mile or two or three of just about all of us?
Yeah,
right?
It looks like it could be maybe a Safeway or Albertsons.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it could be Albertsons too.
Maybe, I don't
as
know.
a matter of fact. Anyway, congrats to him. I'm so excited for the new year to come, and I just think he's going to be flat out amazing. The last pick in the NFL draft, and look at him now.
I know. It's almost like a resurgence of like a Tom Brady storyline, where they were picked last and no one really believed in him. Who was the guy that won the MVP this year in the NFL? The guy that played at Wyoming and
we're talking, of course, about Buffalo Bills' Josh Allen.
Thank you, Josh Allen. He played at community college. Nobody wanted him. Then he went to Wyoming, and he's now look at him.
Yeah.
These guys that never give up. I
know it.
Love it.
Hey, we have an update for you. Things are cooking right along with the light rail. In just a few more weeks, the trains are going to start running on a regular schedule on the South Phoenix Extension, so you can get all the way down to Baseline, or if you live down there, you can hop at first thing in the morning and get downtown. And they're going to finally open the new long-discussed downtown hub. It'll be like our little version of Grand Central, right in that downtown area where you can hop off one train and hop on the other, go east and west, north and south. So no matter where you're going, all the way up to Metro Center or all the way out to Mesa, they got you covered. I'm so excited about this, right?
Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah.
It's grown.
And then there's one other story when it comes to getting around town, and it has to do with this. They have decided not to shut down the reversible lanes. Celeste, you got to be happy about this.
Oh, they voted.
Yeah, they did. So the council took this because there was a petition. A lot of people who go up and down them, some people, pedestrians, bicyclists, etc., said, look, could you just cancel these things, 7th Street and 7th Ave? Some people call them the suicide lanes. And so yesterday they had all kinds of people weighing in. And at the end, they voted unanimously to reject the petition and keep that. Look at this shot right here from the drone, right there at the Melrose District.
Yes.
Yeah, you better look up and make sure you're not in the X lane, but you're in the OK lane.
It can get real dangerous if you're not. Like right now, this driver, I think it's our news rig. They're in the suicide lane. I mean, you really have to follow directions.
You're not saying it's dangerous for whoever's behind the wheel of our news vehicles.
Never. Right. They're perfect drivers. But between these other times, I think it's difficult because during those times where there's a big crash in the Deck Park Tunnel, people utilize 7th Avenue and 7th Street to get up to North Phoenix.
Right.
That used to be the way people got up there before the 51 was built.
Correct.
And so I think if you use it a lot of people use it as a passing lane.
Now, here's the thing. They did say they're going to pay for, get this, a study. I mean, I guess that's always the way you got to do it.
I think it's a comprehensive study, right?
I don't know what it's going to cost, but at least they're going to do a study. Maybe it won't cost anything. Maybe they have their own employees.
But if it is going to cost something, maybe they could pay us, and we'd be happy. I'd be happy to go out and stand there and watch the traffic.
Celeste can count cars. She lives right by 7th Ave.
I drive up and down that way every day.
Yes, you do. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. But in a year, we're all going to meet back here on Fox 10 Talks and see what came out of that study.
That is
then
so
maybe
true.
They'll change their mind.
That is
Who
so
knows?
true. By the way, we do have in the chat box, we were talking about languages we speak, Ron.
Yeah.
I have to give Christine Carroll a big shout out. She says she speaks 5 languages and English is just 1.
Okay.
So I asked her, and if you have a few moments to let us know, what are the other languages that you speak?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yes, it really is.
5 languages.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, that's where you just know they have extra brain power than the rest of us.
Yeah, you must be way smarter than us.
Celeste, how many carrots do you eat per day? On average.
Okay, because I don't eat them every day.
You don't?
I do not have carrots every day.
Okay.
I do not eat green eggs and ham.
I don't eat orange carrots every day because you don't want to turn orange. Is that why?
Well, that would be kind of nice, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, not super orange, but I'd like that nice bronze tan.
Okay.
I have 4 carrots a week.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a big carrot guy.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm trying to think what I would be eating instead. Probably broccoli. I'm huge on green beans. But for some reason, carrots are the only vegetable that can turn your skin a different color. Like I eat so many green beans, you would think I could turn green.
No.
But it doesn't happen.
You're not green, Ron.
Thank you. But these carrots, now there's a thing called carrot maxing. It's become a new trend on TikTok. And so generally we advise staying away from most trends on TikTok. But this one, the whole thing is if you eat too many carrots, they say your liver cannot clear the beta carotene and it starts to ooze into your skin. Do you buy it?
And you start to look orange.
Yeah. Do you buy this?
Not really.
I'm trying to think if I've ever known anybody who looked orange.
So I had a friend, colleague that I worked with.
Okay.
This is maybe 15 years ago. He's vegan.
Yeah.
And he still is. We're
Yes.
still friends.
Yeah.
But he didn't drink coffee or tea, and maybe you guys in the chat box can chime in. He only drank carrot juice in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Instead of coffee, instead of tea, and he
Yeah.
said the sugar from the carrot juice helped perk him up for his day.
Oh.
But he was not orange.
Okay.
And he had carrot juice every
Well, we're
morning.
here to debunk some of these TikTok trends, aren't we?
Yeah. I mean, is that
Yeah.
fake tanner or is it carrot juice?
Right. Some people turn orange in other directions in other ways, that's for sure.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, so we have got to clear out of here in the next couple of minutes. You know why?
Oh, no.
I just saw it's okay, Celeste. Yeah, we're ready for a break after an hour.
Oh, yeah. We
because
have been on the air for hours.
I just saw Ty, and then I just saw Anita walk in, and they've got a big show coming up at 11 o'clock. So we're here on Channel 45, which is called Fox 10 Extra. But we're also hanging out with you on YouTube, which is where our worldwide audience is.
And
new
Christine
people.
Carroll finally responded. She said, sorry, Celeste, French, Spanish, Italian, Latin, and English.
Wow.
5 languages that she speaks.
Latin.
Way to go.
Holy cow. I think you could spend your whole life trying to learn Latin, that's for sure. Tomorrow I will come up with the answer of the pizza joint in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Yes.
That was so deliciously good.
So delicious.
But as we get ready to clear out for our favorites, you can watch them in the 11 o'clock hour on YouTube. We do have this. This, to me, Celeste, was the video of the day. That's why I saved the best for last.
Kangaroos?
You are correct.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is basically a mob, a kangaroo mob. The marsupials were seen yesterday hopping around a flooded hockey field. Apparently they love that soft, kind of mushy, rain-soaked grass. And apparently what happened was the river right in this area, New South Wales, in Taree, broke its banks. And the flooding, I have no idea where the kangaroo came from, but it almost looks like they're hopping in unison.
It does.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Like it's almost like, when you see birds that are migrating
Yes,
together.
right.
And they're
all
all
organized.
organized. These kangaroos.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, don't stare at it for too
thought
long.
that was funny.
Or you'll think the kangaroos are coming for you.
I wonder if they got the little babies in their pouch too, Like it's pretty cool.
You guys
Great
know what?
animal.
Our next guest is from Australia.
Oh, well, look at that.
Okay,
We
good
are the
transition.
kings and
We
queens
might
of the
have to
Segway.
rerun that video.
Okay, yeah, sure, show them. Maybe they have some kangaroo stories to tell.
Yeah.
He's actually here to talk about vertical farming.
Oh,
And
that's
how
okay.
they're using
Right?
robots.
Those big, nice towers.
Yeah, it's pretty
That's a
neat.
good idea in the desert.
And
Yeah.
what else, Anita?
And then the second segment, we
Anita,
have.
now this is the one point where you get to sell your show. Go ahead.
I had to think about it. We have
did
puppies.
It come to you yet?
Puppies coming.
Puppies.
Okay.
Puppies.
Kangaroos and puppies.
You know, you get confused by Thursday. The
Thank
blondes.
you for watching,
Ty was going to hand you a note. Bye.
Oh.
See ya.
What?
2 more minutes.
Welcome, everyone. It's Thursday with Fox 10 Talks with Ty and Anita and Sam.
And Sam. Good morning, Sam.
G'day.
Let's talk about Sam. You just did a live shot with Sam not too long ago.
2 weeks ago, we're trying to forget.
I think it was last week, mate. I don't know.
Okay.
I think it was last week.
All morning I've been saying mate in my head. I almost texted you for video, and I almost said, hey, mate, do you have any video?
There's a huge shortage of mating in the United States.
He's also a comedian and a vertical farmer, if you will.
Somewhat, I suppose.
Somewhat,
yeah,
okay.
It's only been my entire life's purpose for the last 8 years, but yeah.
You have a really fascinating story.
Do I?
I thought so. We have video,
Yeah,
yes.
let's play it.
1.1 vertical farms.
Yes.
But I asked you when I met you a couple of weeks ago. I said, what's your background? Did you go to school to be an engineer?
Mm-hmm.
Does your family have a farm? And you said, no, I play tennis.
I shoot a tennis ball, mate. That's all I do. No, I got recruited to come play tennis in the US. I played at Santa Clara University for a couple years. Did my undergraduate mechanical engineering, did my master's in robotics. And then my brother and I got together and let's take the biggest swing we possibly can at the biggest problem in the world. So poor diet is that problem, and clearly we can be much more efficient with how we grow food. So we developed a system to grow food indoors using robots.
So we're looking at your facility, and this is so technologically advanced. I think it's so genius. Can you kind of walk us through what we are exactly looking at right now?
We
So like when you walk into the room, it's kind of like a giant warehouse, but within the warehouse are these kind of, I guess,
chambers.
Chambers. Good
Yes,
word. Okay.
yes.
And what are you doing in these chambers?
So inside these chambers, we have installed a system to grow plants using LED lights, which you can see on the screen there, HVAC to control temperature, humidity, CO2, and then irrigation, because of course that's how the plants eat. And then running around the top of the farm, on top of this grid, are a set of robots that handle a couple of different functions. So the first function they handle is the movement of plants around the facility. Soon they'll be managing the irrigation of the plants, the imaging of the plants, and a much wider variety of functions as well.
What I thought was really interesting, and we do have people who are watching us live. If they have any questions for you, send them our way. Let us know. Well, Lil Philosophy says that looks expensive, but right. So you can. But here's what I thought was very, very, I guess, interesting is that you sell your product through Whole Foods,
yeah.
and it was $5 for a very large container of the greens, and I thought that was extremely reasonable for organic, healthy, really good food.
Local.
Yeah, local.
Yeah.
Local. Yeah.
Our goal is to get this to absolutely everyone, but like with dishwashers and microwaves and aeroplanes, it just takes a long time before physical things or hardware becomes accessible to absolutely everyone. So, we start at Whole Foods. We're not the most expensive product on the shelf, particularly when you look at local and organic. But you can imagine the number of ways that we can make that more efficient with, the use of electricity, use of labor, use of nutrients, all those kinds of things as well.
So Sam, how does this, walk us through how this works. Is it quicker than if you were to, you can control everything. So does that mean that you can grow things more rapidly?
Yes. So when you grow plants indoors, the number one thing you do is you sort of isolate them from the outside world. So what does that actually mean? The incidence of pest and disease are just dramatically reduced, almost taken to zero. The product never experiences seasons. So if I want an Italian Ligurian environment, I can do that. If I'm in Norway midwinter and I need a Salinas Californian environment, I can do that. So it opens up a lot of possibilities about where you can grow.
Now, when we're looking at the video, you kind of see it. It's kind of grown
on walls.
On a wall.
Yeah.
So does that mean that there are certain things that you can't grow yet? Or is that a dumb question?
No, it's a great question. In fact, it's a question everybody asks.
Yeah.
The strawberry genetics were discovered on cliff faces, so they're used to a vertical plane. Now, at the same time, you can kind of see there the individual modules are only about a foot tall and 2 feet wide. So that's the current incarnation of the technology, and that's perfect for leafy greens, microgreens, herbs, strawberries, mushrooms, the smaller stature plants. It's much less a question about the dimensions of the plants. It's much more about how fast does it grow and then how much can you sell it for in the market.
Sure.
So corn, wheat, and soybean, $700 a ton. I don't see us doing that for a very, very long time. But those products I just mentioned before and many, many other products are perfectly suited for this method of cultivation.
Now, when Anita was there, she said that she was like, "Can we go in this?" And you said yes, but you have to wear. I mean, this is all
hazmat suit,
basically a hazmat suit. Because you don't
I had a
really-
hairnet on it at
He
one
did.
point.
Yeah.
He did, and I almost did the live shot with the hairnet, but I was standing outside, and it wouldn't have made. I know. I don't. Yeah.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
But I really wanted to go in
Because it's a controlled environment.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
It's very loud, so you wouldn't have heard us very well through the camera, and then you wouldn't have seen the robot from inside. Sorry, I just hit the
Yeah,
mic.
but you can. I mean, people are welcome to come in after they put booties on, hairnet, wash their hands, put on the bloody full hazmat suit, and all that fun
And
stuff.
kind of walk us through why that's important and why you need that.
It's most important because the number one risk of pest and disease really comes from people.
Okay.
So one way that pest or disease can get in is through the air. Well, we have HEPA filtration. One way it can get through is through the water. Of course, we have reverse osmosis, and we treat all of the other inputs, very carefully. So the number one way that pest and disease get in is really through us people.
Gotcha.
So that's the riskiest part. Best way to do that is not let them go in, and if they have to go in, make sure they're covered head to toe.
So walk me through kind of from when you plant the seeds to when you're actually able to start. What do you use the word harvesting? Is
Yes.
that the right word?
Yes, yes.
What is kind of the timeline, I guess, average timeline that you're able to do this? And is it faster or slower than if we were planting this in the ground?
It's about twice as fast as
Whoa.
the outdoor
Isn't that
farm.
crazy?
Because we can lengthen the days. We can make
Yeah.
days 18 hours long rather than really 8. And a variety of other things. We cheat. We use the third dimension. Most people grow 2-dimensionally. So it is faster, and we can do it year round, which really is the biggest difference. Regarding the plant's journey, so we start with a 1 foot by 2 foot tray. We fill it with a grow media, which is actually coconut husk that's been sort of up processed and sent to us. We put the seed in there. We hydrate it. The seed cracks after 24, 48, 72. The next one.
Yeah.
3 days. 1, 2, 3.
I think I know math. I can't. And then we throw the plant into the system. When the plant's young, the plant wants high humidity, low light levels. That's what we give it. When the plant moves into the nursery phase, slightly higher light levels, lower humidity. That's what we give it. When it enters its sort of final, sort of the exponential phase of growth, that's when we give it a lot of light, slightly higher temperatures. We just run that engine as hard as we can. Then the robots, when it's harvest time, the robots running around the top, they team up to pull these bins out one by one by one by one. We pull the trays out, throw it through an automated harvester, and Bob's your uncle.
So how much are humans actually having their hands on this? Because it seems like everything's pretty much automated, right?
Still, almost. I mean, there are still people that sit by the machines and make sure they operate. Not the robots so much, they're fully automated, but the harvest machines, the seeding machines, they're still operated by people. I think eventually, within the next 12 to 18 months, as we expand this farm, as we build other farms around the United States, our goal is that not only do people not touch the product, people don't even breathe the same air as the product.
Okay, so maybe a silly question, but we have all the AI. People are worried robots are taking over. Does this take jobs away from people?
No, I don't think so. I mean, people were worried about that with ATMs, automatic teller machines. They were saying bank tellers are just going to be, a completely defunct line of work. And I think we have triple, quadruple, as the pugs walk into the room, and I can't take my eyes off them, triple or quadruple the number of bank tellers.
gosh.
So it's just a tool. It's just a tool. Once we figured out how to use rocks to crush things, once we figured out how to use fire to cook things, it's a productivity tool.
Husky Mom is asking, have you ever thought about growing tomatoes or other veggies upside down, like flipping the vertical to a raised horizontal?
That's a really intelligent way to do it, other than the flow of water. I need to hydrate those plants' roots, and if they're up there, running water past that plant without letting the water drip down into the plant is extremely hard. So that's why we put them on 90 degrees from that. We can run water past them. The tomato, the fruit, can hang down, making it easier to harvest, and then the leaf can kind of shape up towards the line.
This is
Nice question, Husky Mum.
Yeah, thank you. That was really, I know, that was, we have a great audience here. It is fascinating, and I think that ultimately, like you said, what we're seeing is you're able to produce more and more and more, and there's so many people, the quality of food,
yes.
but so many people are hungry. They can't get their hands on good food either.
And something that I think is so interesting too, I mean, we live in the desert. We are always talking about water.
Always.
This is not taking as much water as it would if you have crops out in the field.
About 95 to 99% less water.
Wow. Okay, so realistically, how big is that farm area? And then how many can you build out? How many can you have? Because this could be a really great solution, obviously.
It'll be, I mean, I'm trying to get a picture or a cartoon sort of painted so I can talk to a little bit more, but every retail distribution center, every food service distribution center should have one of these. You know, hotels, malls will have a small one kind of for show, but at the same time you can interact with it, take some berries off. I mean, you're never going to taste a better berry than it comes straight off the vine. There are applications just far and wide. So our focus right now, you know, we've got the blinders on. We're a startup. We're 8 years old. We raised $75 million. Wow. What we're doing is really hard. You know, multiple multi-billion-dollar businesses have failed in the last 12 months trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, how many of these farms exist nationwide versus worldwide?
Let's see. I mean, there's a concentration in the US because it's a tech startup space, if I can sort of describe it that way. But of the 10 major ones, at least 8 have gone through bankruptcy over the last year and a half. It is just really, really hard.
Why do you think that is? Because I feel like this would be like a slam dunk.
I do too. It's almost a no-brainer.
Because it all comes down to cost. One of the comments before was, how do you compete with the outdoor farm is a fantastic question. It's extremely hard. And agriculture has had 10,000 years to get really good at what they do. Yeah. It is the oldest industry in the world.
Can you, instead of competing then, can you work together?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the best use cases for this kind of technology is for nursery plants. In an outdoor farm, they usually plant live plants. They don't usually plant seeds anymore. They plant a plant that already exists about this big. So we take care of the babies, we give them a perfect life, and then we ship them to the outdoor farm.
And they have a better chance of surviving, hopefully.
Much better. And then the quality, I mean, it's a direct correlation, causal, between the quality of that plant when it's 10 days old versus 5 years.
Where can I had the greens, the mixed greens, I think.
She gave me the kale.
I got
delicious.
Kale. You're gonna live forever now.
And I'm gonna tell you what, my husband does not eat a lot of greens.
Oh yeah,
loved it.
Hey,
loved it. He said it was delicious. So
nonchalant husbands are our target audience.
How do people find the product? How do they learn more about you? Websites, so on.
So the product is in Whole Foods, all Whole Foods here in Phoenix. Going to expand that.
This is the logo that you find on it.
Willow. A little over 2,000 years ago, the first ever use case for plants as medicine was willow bark. Salicylic acid, modern day aspirin for labouring women. So that's why we want to use plants as medicine. All this is about health. We're getting to this, about health. But you can find us at willow.farm, 1.1.com, lots of different places. Yeah.
And can the public come and look at the farm?
No. We have some tours, but it's just
limited,
have to actually since we've done we're now public for 2.5 years. We didn't tell anyone what we're doing, right?
We've got about 30 seconds.
Yes, you can come visit us.
Yeah, I highly recommend if you have an opportunity, go check it out. It blows
really
your mind.
Cool. It is fascinating.
It blows your mind, and it really is good food.
Nothing quite gets the crowds going like leafy greens. That's my favorite line.
See? Wow, you're talking to two vegetarians here.
No joke.
Okay.
No joke.
Okay.
So I wasn't lying.
Thank you so much for coming in. That was
Pleasure.
super,
Thank you. That was
super
very,
interesting.
Very cool.
happening here?
All right, welcome back. Anita has lost all control. We have no
Completely.
control of Anita anymore
None.
because
Hi.
we have the cutest
Oh,
little puppies.
Was it Monday or Tuesday was
Oh,
National...
look at... Hold on. Let me put this down.
Okay.
Look at that.
This one's out, and this one's very active. Hi, Sugar. Was it National Rescue Dog Day?
Yes, earlier this week it was.
So we had another shelter on with a little pup named Dolly, and I do hope she got a home. We have... Hi. There's a lot going on here. You
Anita,
okay?
is that one okay? It's just like support its neck. It's like a baby. You have to support its neck. Oh, and you're waking her up. She's getting pissed.
It's a boy.
Oh, him. Sorry. Oh my gosh.
We
Sorry.
tend to lose track.
I mean, they're such a distraction. They're too
They really
cute,
are.
right?
We haven't even introduced who you are. I'm so sorry.
Because
This
the
is-
real stars
I
are
know.
in your
Oh
hands.
my gosh.
Kimberly, with our good friends over at Arizona Animal Welfare League. And you have brought these sweet little babies to us today for a very special reason, right?
Yep, they are in a foster home right now, and we're in need of fosters, right? It is our busiest season, and so we're looking for more families to come out and become fosters with us.
So let's talk about are there prerequisites of what you need to do?
You have to love them, kiss them, cuddle them, and hug them all day long.
That one's trying to hit you.
No, she wants kids.
No, she wants you to be quiet. Look at, oh my God. They are too cute. I'm sorry, Kimberly. Go on.
Yeah, but literally, it's all you have to do is provide the love, right? We provide everything else. It's a super simple process. You just visit our website, aawl.org, fill out an application, say what you're interested in fostering. You can do puppies, kittens. We have medical cases. We have dogs that don't do well in the shelter environment and would do better in a home until they find their forever home. So there's all those different options. It's a super simple process, and that's how you get started.
It's so great because this really gives you an opportunity to spend some time with an animal at home so you can even figure out.
Yeah.
You know, you might become a foster failure, but also you're giving these animals an opportunity to socialize, to learn, to get ready for the next step in life.
Especially with puppies and kittens, that's what we need, right? We need that socialization, build those skills, provide them love, and get them ready to find their forever homes.
You know, we're not paying any attention to what you're saying because we keep, look at her. Oh.
There's just so many kisses, right?
She is so sweet.
And then look at that poor little one that's just sound asleep.
She's happy.
Or he sound asleep. If you have a dog already at home, do you need to make like any type of maybe introduction before you bring these pups in, or is that something that you guys kind of help out with?
So with puppies and kittens, we always suggest keeping them separate, at least for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Just because we don't know, they come from different areas. We don't know if they have anything, so we just say keep them separate, protect your own animals. And then for adult dogs, if you have them in your home, we want to do a meet and greet before you bring in a foster.
How long on average is a foster family keeping the pup? Or it probably just depends on the dog, right? I can imagine if you've got a cute little puppy like this, they're probably only going to be with you maybe a short amount of time.
Yeah, so these ones are around 6 weeks old. So we have a minimum of 2 weeks in foster. So they're going to be available for adoption in a few weeks once they grow big and strong and get all their vaccines, get spayed and neutered. But other ones, if you're through our Homeward Bound program and it's an adult dog that's looking for their forever home, it can vary. We do require a minimum of 2 weeks, but it can also be months depending on how long it takes for them to find their forever home.
They need food. They probably want some toys. There might be a little bit of vet care that's needed. How does that work?
We provide all of it. So we have our own shelter clinic. So we provide all that medical care, that support if you have questions, all the food, everything you need. Literally all you have to do is provide the love and kisses.
Which is not a difficult thing.
mine's
This is the most playful little pug ever. Yours is out.
Look how sweet. Oh
It's adorable.
I feel bad that you're not holding a puppy.
I mean, I get to hold them all the time.
But I also don't want to give up a puppy. Oh my goodness gracious. Tell us about this litter.
Yes, so this litter came through our last litter program. So how that works is it was an oops litter with a family and their adult dogs. And so they brought in the puppies. They'll find their forever homes. And then we give them spay and neuter vouchers to get them fixed so they don't reproduce again.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great program.
Yeah, it's a really great program.
You guys, in addition to the foster, do a lot of programs for the public as well.
Yeah, so we have our low-cost community vet clinic that's open to the public. We provide wellness care, preventative through there. And then we also offer dog training too.
Oh, yeah, that's fantastic. I can't think of questions because I can only stare at the puppy. That's it.
But it must be so rewarding
Yeah.
for these families that take on a foster. I mean, we were kind of talking about it earlier, but I mean, you obviously make quite the connection with these puppies, but you know that you're really helping out in their life, right?
You are. Our fosters are like a lifeline of our organization. We couldn't do what we do without them. Same with our volunteers. The thousands of animals that we rescue each year are only possible because of them. We have over 150 kittens in foster right now because we're in the midst of kitten season.
Yeah.
So we couldn't do that without our fosters. And what's great too is when you foster with us, puppies and kittens, you get to name them.
You do?
Yeah. So these don't have names yet because their fosters haven't chosen names. But that's kind of a fun thing to be able to do.
That is cute.
Yeah.
You mentioned it's puppy season, it's kitten season. How many kittens?
So it is kitten season. We have 150 in our care right now. Throughout the summer months, we see around 12,000 or not 1,200 kittens come through our shelter.
And then how many dogs do you have?
So right
oh,
now,
bless you, Stinks.
we have around 120 dogs in our care and 250 cats. Wow. So yeah, we're really full right now. That's the summer months. It's busy for us.
And the other important thing to point out is I'm not even reading the comments. I'm sorry, you guys.
Good. Keep going.
Just so focused. Is when you adopt or foster, you make room for more.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So you make room in our shelter to be able for us to support more animals, and then also, if you're not in the room to be able to adopt or foster, there's other ways to support our organization through volunteering if you have time to do that, or even just donating off our wish list off our website or a monetary donation. It makes a huge impact.
I think I did a story with you guys a couple of years ago. I have that community care segment about giving back, and someone donated like just hundreds and hundreds of boxes of dog bones, treats.
Yeah.
Right? Do you remember that? And it was just I think it was with you guys, but it was just so neat to see people giving back, and that's the thing. You don't have to give money, you don't have to give time. You can give in other ways.
Yeah, our community is so generous, and we rely solely on them as a nonprofit to be able to provide that stuff. And so, when in this midst of this time with like kitten food, all of the things that we provide to our fosters, and then also we do provide food to the public as well if they need it, and different community partners. And so any donations that you can make to our wish list also makes an impact.
There's I think a brewery right by you guys, right?
So Walter Station
Brewery
is a huge partner of us. Yeah.
So I was there live, and they had a special beer that they brewed for you guys. But you had volunteers walking the dogs behind the brewery, just kind of hanging out, coming over, and it was so neat. That's another thing you can do.
Yeah, volunteering is a huge thing, and it's just as easy as becoming a foster. You fill out that application, you come in for a buddy day, and then you can get started walking dogs, spending time with cats. Volunteers are in every part of our organization, from events into our shelter clinic, in our foster program, all of that. And we need just as many fosters and volunteers as we can get.
I'm going to give you the white pup.
Yeah, so we cuddle.
But I want to show everybody the little body on this one, because it just gets cuter when you unwrap them and you look. I'm sorry, but please look at this. Hi, tell everybody I need a forever home. Oh my gosh.
That face. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. Oh
Okay.
yeah. Hello,
Hi.
it's me. How are you?
She's like, wait, what's happening? You don't have a name yet? What should we name you? Why are puppies just the best thing in the world? My goodness.
Makes everything
grief.
better. You have a fun job, don't you? Let's talk about kind of capacity, because I know you guys are always, you and all the organizations out here are kind of always dealing with capacity issues. Kind of where are you at right now, and where are you kind of seeing the area where you need the most adoptions right now?
Our dogs are seeing longer lengths of stays. With over 350 animals in our care, I mean, if you're in the room to adopt or add a family member to your family, now's the time. And you can learn more about all the animals we have up for adoption on our website. It's updated multiple times a day. You can also just come down to our shelter and meet with them.
Okay.
Oh, fun. Okay,
do you have to make an appointment to do that, or can you just show up? And
Nope, you could just come down during the adoption hours. We have 2 locations. So we have our 40th Street in Washington main shelter, and we also have a location at the Chandler Mall.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
And this is where
one.
a lot of our puppies, most likely they'll go there as well.
Okay.
And so that's a great place to go if you're looking for a puppy, a smaller dog. Cats and kittens go there as well. But you can learn more about all the animals we have up for adoption on our website.
Ty and I, when we anchored the weekend mornings together, tried really hard to get the old timers adopted out. Yeah. And so we would have an old timer on Saturday, meaning a dog that's been at the shelter. What's the time length or time?
So it can vary. We have a lot of dogs that have been with us multiple months right now. You know, it's just a different climate out there. And, you know, we just have a lot that are looking for their forever homes right now.
But, you know, they were there for 100 days,
Yeah.
90, you know. But the Fox 10 viewers and all the viewers here are so absolutely generous. I swear within a week they'd be adopted
We
out.
had a pretty good track record.
We had a
for
great track
while.
record. That one looks like a little old man.
I think he's tiny,
right?
isn't
Yeah. Well, maybe. We do have one dog that's been with us over 2 years, Syrup, that we feature a lot on our social media.
Oh, my goodness.
He's a little shy, but we're just really hoping that he finds his forever home.
Well, maybe
soon.
we'll have to bring him in next time if, oh my gosh.
Look at him. Do.
Oh my goodness, they are so
Are you gonna go
cute.
pee pee on the table?
No, on Uncle Ty's lap.
Just take a little snooze.
Oh, how old are these pups? Do you know?
So they're around 6 weeks old, so they have a couple more weeks in foster before they're going to be ready to go up for adoption.
Okay.
Hold on. Go this way so you can see your cute face.
Oh. Man, they look like purebred pugs.
They might be. We don't know for sure, but yeah.
Wow. Oh my.
Look at that zoom in. There it is.
You woke me up and I'm not. Oh. Oh my God, I love that.
Can we just do this every segment?
Every day.
Just puppies?
Well, I told Ty yesterday because I messaged. Was messaging with you guys. I'm like, whenever you can bring these pups in, and I messaged Ty and I said, I just really need puppies. There's something about dogs.
Oh yeah,
it does.
They
right?
do. Just puppy cuddles.
I was going to ask you kind of about the adoption process. So if someone is ready to adopt, be it one of these cute little puppies or one of your other dogs or cats that have been there for a while, what is kind of the process of doing that?
Yeah, so you can go to our website to see who we have available, or you can come down to one of our locations, walk our kennels, walk our cattery, meet with a few animals, and then meet with an adoption counselor, and they can kind of help guide you on what might be a best fit for your family. It's a super easy process. We try to make it as quick as possible.
Sure. Now, do you guys do kind of any like overnight stays or kind of
Oh,
like a
I
little
know, I was thinking
quote
the
unquote
same thing,
trial
yeah.
period?
Yeah, so we offer slumber parties if you're interested in adopting. Now, it is for dogs that are 5 months and older, same with
Gotcha.
cats, so that we can see if it's a right fit or
Yeah.
not. This is great when you have other animals in your home.
Or kids.
Yeah.
And see how they feel in the house. And you just never know. You just never know.
So you can take them for 24
Okay.
hours or whatever, and you can kind of
Yeah,
just
it depends on the kind of, we help guide that and see what's the best fit of how long. It can always be extended a little bit, but yeah, it's a great opportunity if you're, unsure if it's going to be the right fit to do that slumber party. So that's why we offer it.
We're wrapping up real quick. How do people get a hold of you?
So visit our website, aawl.org, or follow along at AAWLPHX on Instagram and all socials, and you'll see